Could you, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about the young adult Amun, and what are some of the challenges you faced or obstacles you saw when you were coming up?
Well, the teenager moon, whole different name then. Teenager moon was a byproduct of the young boy moon, which was you talking about an abused child who's physically and mentally abused. I was a kid to get on the bus with bruised ribs and busted lips and black eyes,
Mm.
and was told I wasn't gonna be much, by his father. Even though my mother and my father stayed together for 8 years, my mother did what she could, and my father, I understood after all the years why he did what he did, and it helped me forgive him in his last days. That behavior pattern, that treatment towards me, ended up making me lean more towards street people because they ended up giving me a lot more love. So the homies gave me more fatherly love than my father. So I ended up gang banging as a result and selling dope. That's what they were doing. So I was doing it too because I wanted to be like them. 1991, when I first went to Marine Corps, it was because in 1990, I was sitting in the passenger seat. My partner was in the driver's seat, and he got shot in the head over a female. And I was brains on my shirt. And I asked myself, is this what I want for the rest of my life? I got to do something different. I got to get gone, So I went ahead and I enlisted in the Marine Corps and did my thing, but I was still a knucklehead because I was still banging a little bit in the Marine Corps. Got out to play football, which I did. I played arena football. And I got hurt and had a little time where I struggled. So that part of me was a part where I struggled and experienced loss because I gave so much to people that when it came my time to get help from people, I never got it. So I ended up sleeping on the bus stop for a couple of months and dug myself out of that. And by then, I met a young lady, and then we got together and we got married and I had a son. I had to do something with my life. So as soon as my son was born, joined the Marine Corps again. And I said, if I go in this time, I'm staying until I retire. As I'm back in the Marine Corps, I entered in the initial MOS of artillery, which is field artillery, shooting big cannons. And did that for a while, made it to what they call section chief, as well as platoon sergeant. And then I saw some operators. They had a thing where you could try out for recon. And they asked if, anybody wanted to do that. All combat arms MOS. So I tried out and I made it. So I did that for a while. Went to Iraq, Afghanistan, East Timor, several other places around the world. And I've experienced life with several different paths. The good parts of it was I learned several languages. I've had some experiences with people. I've met people good and bad. I've been divorced. I've been married and been divorced again, and got married to my beautiful wife now. But at the end of the day, I've had my share of pain. I know what it's like when people are disloyal to you. I know what it's like when you overgive. I know what it's like when you're not loyal, when I'm not loyal. I know what it's like when, to be betrayed and everything else, almost to the point to where your life is in danger. I jump out of the extract from the military. I'm retired now. When I initially got out, I had a lot of guns. When I first got out, 2010, I got rid of all my guns as soon as I came home because of what I did in the Marine Corps. All that war, and all that shooting, I was at the point I didn't want to touch a gun again. So, with that being said, it took me up to 2015 when I was saying, hey, something ain't right. Because, it was dealing with the Trayvon Martin issue. It started with Sandra Bland, and it was Trayvon Martin, it was Mike Brown, it was Alton Sterling, it was Philando Castile, it was on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So then I got to the point where I said, something has to be done. We're at war. Prior to that, let me just back up a little bit. Prior to that, I was a preacher. That's a long
Mm.
story. Prior to that, I was a preacher. I was a youth pastor, as a matter of fact, under my father, who was a doctor in theology. I was a devout Christian. I was church 7 days a week, literally seven
Seven
days a week.
days a week?
7 days a week. I went to church,
Wow.
and I looked forward to it. I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't curse, I didn't do none of that wild stuff. Gonna sleep around, even when I was single, was sleeping around, none of that. Okay, when I say devout, I was devout. Now, what led me up to that? I got to rewind a little bit, y'all. What reminded me up to even joining the church again was the fact that, man, I was wilding. I was wilding a little bit. Me fresh out of the Marine Corps, I had a whole bunch of traumas I was dealing with. A lot of traumas. And I thought Jesus was the way to go. So I ended up joining the church and then ended up saying I was called to be a preacher, but in reality, I just wanted to make my father proud of me. So I ended up doing what I'm supposed to do in the ministry, being a good old preacher. I saw so much in the church that I just started seeing nonsense, lies, people not living the way I'm living, and they singing to me in the church, but they're expecting all this great stuff out of me. So then it made me write a sermon called "I Can No Longer Live a Lie," and I went in. I went in on the deacons. I was sleeping around with the deaconesses. I went to the married deacon that was touching little girls. I was talking about the
Mm.
preachers that couldn't keep their eyes off of other women. I mean, I went in. I went in. As I was driving home from church, I was like, God, God, I'm real confused right now. I don't know what that was about. The voice in the back of my head was, I'm going to show you some things. You're not going to like none of them. But by the time you go to bed, you're going to remember one thing, and that's don't ever call me father again. I went to sleep. I woke up and I was livid. I woke up. This is a lie. Christianity is a lie. They lied to me. It contradicted themselves. Blah 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 blah. Threw my Bible away that day. And for the first time in years, I cursed. I left the church, and then I entered this realm of so-called consciousness. So I joined the New Black Panthers on Crystal Muhammad, and everything was okay for a minute, but there was some things I didn't agree with. So I ended up leaving because of some things I didn't agree with. I didn't agree with behavior patterns. I didn't agree that you could be doped up and high on duty. I didn't agree that your uniform could look sloppy on duty. I didn't agree in poor revolutionaries. I definitely don't agree in the most revolutionary thing you could do is go to jail. The most revolutionary thing you could do to me is save your people. Ended up leaving that formation. I was a man without a country for a while, slightly before Hurricane, well, it was about 6 months before Hurricane Harvey. I ended up joining Huey P. Newton Gun Club. Trained with them, not necessarily joined, but trained with them, right?
Mhm.
Then I joined for about 2 weeks, and then I asked if I could start a special operations unit for the Huey P. Newton Gun Club called Anubis. He gave me the go ahead. I had some people that was in the Huey P. Newton Gun Club working with me. We did some good things. One day, um, their chairman, Babu Omawale, came in, gave me full autonomy over Anubis, and boom, here I am. But what made my mindset me is a mixture of my former religion embedded with my current spirituality. And it's the fact that all of my life, I've always felt that there was a greater purpose for me out there than just to be one of the crowd. I'm not trying to be the next Malcolm. I'm not trying to be the next Martin. I'm trying to be the first and only Amun.
Yeah.
Not a big quote giver. I'm not a big look at me guy, because once you put yourself in that box, say, look at me, people are going to look at you and they're going to expect a whole lot of things. And I'm not willing to give them all of that. What I'm willing to give you is a person that loves his people. Am I fallible? Absolutely. Do I have things I need to work on? All day. Do I have anger issues? Yes. Do I get frustrated? Absolutely. Do I get depressed? Sometimes. Do I lose faith? Yes. Because I'm this thing called human. But I want a bunch of people to understand that humans could actually, if you reach down and grab a hold, you understand that you have things that you need to work on that's going to help your personal life. You will be okay. You just got to push through it. We could save our people together. Teach the people to save the people. And after I do that, because I promised my father I would start a news before he died. I said, I work for the people and I worked this hard for 10 years. If it don't work, Pops, I quit because I need to rest. I fought my wars. I fought in Iraq. I fought in Afghanistan. I fought all over this planet. I need to rest. I've been blown up once and shot 5 times. So I said, after 10 years, I'm not fighting this fight no more, because if we ain't liberated in 10 years, we don't want to be. That's a decade.
Mm. You just said something I think about. When I was younger and I saw people, like you said, uniforms are sloppy, they not coming
Right.
in, they're not doing what they're supposed to do, they're not reading what they're supposed to do. And I used to think, hey, what's up with that? I didn't get it, right?
Mm.
And it was because I was under the assumption that all the people in this organization actually believed in what the organization represented and actually wanted to be free and liberated. It wasn't until a little later I realized some people join things and have they're really not trying to be this great Christian, this great Buddhist, this great Muslim. They join for other reasons, and this is just the thing that attracts them. Or in our case, they join a political organization because there's women there. They join a political organization because they get attention. They join a political organization because it seems like the cool thing to do, but they're not committed. Did you come to see that, or I'm just curious to what your experience has been with that?
I see it all the time, which is why I backed away from that part of the movement. I mean, everybody wants to be this revolutionary war fighter. until the war's in your face. I've never seen so many fat warriors in my life. I never seen so many 300-pound
Stop,
warriors
man.
that can't walk down the street in my life. I'm serious. In the 18 years I served in the Marine Corps, I have never seen a 300-pound recon Marine. I've never seen warriors that couldn't disassemble and assemble their rifle. Barely knew the components, barely knew how it worked, couldn't shoot, move, communicate, don't know what communications mean, don't know understand radio discipline. And my least favorite one, cannot follow orders and cannot
Mm.
play their positions, because at the end of the day, if you give black people a position, what I've learned is they're gonna take that and say, I can tell you what to do, even though it's your team, and no matter what, it's because I am at a certain place in your life, I'm your friend, or I'm this, I'm that to you. It matters more. And that's false. The business fails in the movement. The business is saving the people. The business is the people. It fails when people cannot play their position. It absolutely unequivocally fails. When you can't follow instructions, that's when the fuse is lit to detonation on what you're trying to do so far as a task. Some people don't want to play their position because at the end of the day, they see what you're doing and they think they can do it better.
Yes, sir.
My advice to
Yes,
them is, if
sir.
you think you can do it better, is get the hell out of what he's doing and start your own thing instead of trying to be destructive. Or they have discipline problems. They have discipline problems, so you got to get rid of them, and I will get rid of you. Nobody, no commander wants to get rid of somebody. But if you're a discipline problem, you got to go.
What's
It's just like
define
working.
discipline problem for me, for us?
The discipline problem is this. Hey, I need y'all. Y'all haven't been in training. What's going on? Hey, man, stop telling me what to do. Why you always got to be in charge? Because I am in charge. You and your ego. It's not in my ego if I'm literally telling you what this is. I am in charge. Yes, that is a fact. It's not about an ego. It's about respecting chain of command. And the reason why I would say I'm in charge, and I'm proud to say this, because when stuff goes bad, guess whose fault it is? Mine. When somebody's being petty and they starting trash with another organization and they're from my team, guess who the other team gonna go to war with? Me. And I'm sitting there by myself. Guess whose fault it is if somebody says something ridiculous on a post and everybody mad? Me. And I cannot have nothing to do with it.
Okay, so
Okay?
let me stop you there, Moon, because you're on a roll. I feel the energy, and I have been through all of what you just said personally, and I've
Right.
seen others go through it personally. I was always taught if you want to lead, everybody wants to lead. You gotta serve first. You want to be a
Mm-hmm.
teacher, you gotta be a student first, and be excellent as a student, so you can be an excellent teacher. And I would imagine if you that you got to be commander because you earned that through military, firearms, and whatever else you learned. You didn't just pop up like, oh, I'm gonna be head of Anubis. You had the
Right.
requisite skills. So now my question is, that I know personally leads to deep level anger, resentment, and frustration and disillusionment. Wondering, am I in the wrong? Is it me? Am I in the wrong thing? I want to know. I want people watching who are going to feel all of these things that you just very eloquently broke down. What things did you do to work through that, Amun, so that you weren't consumed? How did you work through that? How do you work through that?
I'm still working with it, Bob. I'm gonna be honest with you. I resent the movement. I resent the stuff that I went through. I resent all the sacrificing. I resent the amount of time that I spent away from my family. I resent the amount of money that I spent. I resent the folks who misjudged me and miscalculated, lied on my name, and everything. I resent all of it. Why? Because my heart goes to the people. Always. I'm forever loyal to the people. Now, how do I deal with it? I ignore them. That's why I'm no longer in that movement. I work solely, my team. We're no longer revolutionaries, we're solutionaries. I left that whole movement. If that's what they want, I'm gone, and so is my team. Do not call us if all hell breaks out. We'll work for the people away from them. But with all the turmoil that was caused, I no longer want nothing to do with them. Period. Not even on a personal level. Nowhere in life. And I've been called divisive because of that. And I want to say in advance, thank you. You know why? Because I am. I am a black man. I don't like, and I'm very divisive when it comes to that, because at the end of the day, I am trying to help my people. I'm not. Look. I'm not the sole complete savior of the black nation. I know this. I get it wholeheartedly. Neither do I want to be. I want to do my part as I promised. But if I got a bunch of trying to throw curveballs and everything that black people trying to do, I got to get away from you, and I'm gonna stay away. You can whatever elder you sway, anybody that get on your side. All I need is the list. I'll get rid of them Because at the end of it, they're not elders if they can't have the discernment to say that this is crazy. They're olders, and I don't need to be around olders. I need advice from
So,
elders.
so for those who will be watching this, one of the things you did was you created boundaries. You said,
Absolutely.
I'm not going
That's
to
a
be
man.
Mary Poppins and let everybody in my crew. If I find out that you poison, cancer,
You got to go.
whatever, you got to go.